We've been driving around, singing songs way too loud because we wanna. Picking up all our friends, fill up the car till it bends because we wanna. Yeah, we just wanna have fun. The trunk's full of wine. We're gonna stay up, have the time of our lives. The night is young, don't need anybody else. We came to party all night long, and we don't need no chaperone. We don't need nobody's attention, yeah, we just wanna dance on our own. We came to party all night long and sing along to every song. We don't need nobody's attention, don't need nobody else in our zone.
I think one of the hardest things, especially for me, to consistently keep organized is kids' things. Especially at a younger age, you feel like you're constantly cleaning and organizing, and then they're constantly messing it all up. You want to encourage independent play, but you also want it to be perfectly organized. So because this is where I struggle, in today's video, I'm going to create a playroom that is realistically organized enough for them. I'm also reorganizing this closet changing station where they have all of their school clothes laid out for the week, and then also creating school boxes, which you'll see in a minute. So I went to Home Goods, I got a few things that I want to use in the playroom, and then I also purchased some stuff from Ikea, the container store, and I am going to be using the Cricut today to help me label everything and keep everything nice and neat. So this video is sponsored by Cricut, and I did want to thank Cricut so much for helping me out. So I am going to be using the Cricut Maker 3, but if you're not familiar with Cricut, they make smart cutting machines, and they work with an easy to use app, which I'll show you how I design everything through the design center on my computer, and you can personalize almost everything. So I'm going to be using the removable smart vinyl here to make these custom school boxes for the girls, but you can make just about anything, such as like custom greeting cards. You can make clothing, like unique apparel labels, everyday items, so I can label, the kids' lunch boxes and stuff, and just so much more. So once I have the design center set up and I registered my Cricut, then there are tons of different fonts and designs that you can choose from. Because there's so much you can do and all the different things you can make, it can seem intimidating, but I promise you it's not, because you don't need any experience to get started. They have a learning plan that you can follow to make different designs. So that's how I learned how to go in and align my images, as well as connect them and then get the right sizes and shapes that I want. And the Cricut Design Space is a free software that is easy to learn. So with my first project, what I'm going to be labeling and designing are these school boxes, and you may have seen them going around the internet, and I thought it was a really cool idea. I got these containers from the container store, and there's a little slot on the side that allows you to add file folders in there. So this way you can file and keep important artwork for your kids. So what I'm doing here is measuring the size that I want my first label to be. I wanted it to be around 8 inches by 5 inches, so I'm adjusting it as needed. Next, I'm just going to go straight to make it, and then you can make it either with or without a mat. For the materials that I'm using, I'm going to use it without a mat, and then you can kind of recenter it. It'll also tell you how much paper you need in order to cut it out. I'm going to be using the removable smart vinyl in 3 different colors, so I'll just go ahead and select the smart vinyl, removable, cut out my piece in the color I want. In this one, I'm going to be using pink. I'm going to go ahead and load it into the cutter and then go ahead and press start. So within just a short time frame, this one cut within less than a minute. The cut is complete, and then you can see it outlined there, and then you can go ahead and get ready to transfer it. I'm going to peel back the excess vinyl paper, and then I'm going to use the Cricut weeding tool to go in and help me remove some of those hard to remove vinyl, like for example, the little circles in the A and the O and the Y. So next, that label is almost ready, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other two kids. So I'm going to customize Savannah's name, and I'm going to use the purple vinyl to print out her name, using the same 3 easy steps. Now, I do recommend using the Cricut materials with the Cricut products because they are high quality and they cut perfectly with the machine. But if you already have a Cricut, leave me a comment below and let me know what your favorite thing to make with it is. So in less than a minute, I had Savannah's name designed and cut out. And lastly, I'm going to do Rye's name. Now, I could have done all of their names in one design or one long cut, but I wanted to use different color to separate them. So I'm just going to go in, quickly design his name, get the right measurements, and then load the paper and let it go ahead and cut. Now, once I remove the excess vinyl paper, then I'm ready to transfer it onto the bends. Now, this is the last step, and it's super easy as well. So it comes with some transfer tape, and what you're going to do is I'm measuring it quickly here to get the amount of transfer tape that I need. I'm going to go ahead and use the Cricut scissors to cut the tape. Then I'm going to peel it back and place it onto my design. Once I have it in place, then I'm going to use the scraper to really get it onto the design. This way it'll transfer and stick really easily. So once I've got it all flattened out, then I'm going to peel back the transfer tape. And once I have everything peeled, then I'm ready to transfer it onto the bends. So going up to my craft bins, I'm going to place the transfer tape right where I need it, and then continue to use the scraper tool so that it gets on nice and thick. And then I'm going to peel back the transfer tape, and then I'm left with the beautiful label that I customized and designed. So this turned out so good, and I'm even reusing the transfer tape. So since it's about the same size, I can use it several times. That way I don't have to waste it, and go ahead and transfer each design onto each bin. So these designs are turning out better than I could have imagined. And the amount of stuff that you can make with the Cricut machine is insane, but it definitely makes it worth the investment. I am going to be using the Cricut to label several more things throughout the video, but I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I do have the link to purchase your Cricut down below in my description box. So this is how they turned out, but these boxes are legal size, like file folder boxes. So they have little slots to where you can add hanging folders, and then there is a separation if you buy letter size versus legal size folders, which legal size is just a lot longer. So probably in my next video, I'll go through some of the artwork that I have and start adding it into these folders. So what I've seen on the internet is the idea is that you have like kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and so on. And you just put in like all of the artwork or whatever's worth saving that you want. But I do have, like, Rye's only one, but I do have footprints and handprints and some stuff from his birth at the hospital that I might want to include early on. And then these folders I got from Amazon, and then again, they are the legal size, so they are extra long.
You were my best friend, didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space. So brave and so stupid, just like the movies. How it's gonna stay in the fight with you. Just thinking we would do this until we couldn't do it. Each and every high, every night with you.
So next I'm moving on to our closet. And yes, I do have this little cubby holder in our closet where the girls can get dressed on their own. I'll just put their clothes in here for the week, and then in the mornings they'll come downstairs, grab them, and get dressed. When they get older, I'll move everything upstairs, but it's just easier to manage right now. with it being downstairs. Now, I bought this last year and it worked great, but what started happening is the more weight that gets on there, it just starts dropping. Like, it never dropped like that and hung like that at the very bottom, but it started bothering me because you couldn't even read the labels anymore, and it basically just got too heavy. But it did work out for a good year. So I had the option of either just buying another one, or I had an idea to buy these organizing bins from the Container Store and kind of put them in drawers. Now, when this package arrived, there was a big hole in it, so I was a little bit nervous. And these were like sweater drawers from the Container Store. They're not quite the Home Edit line. That line was a little bit more expensive. So, but these are what I wanted to use. So when this one did come in, it was damaged. So I ended up returning it, and instead of having 5 different drawers, one for each day of the week, I just have 4. And then on the last drawer, we're just gonna have 2 days worth of clothes in there. So anyway, let's put this together and see how it turns out. So when they finally came in, I wasn't too sure of the size. I had a size in my head, but I didn't measure. But these little drawer organizers actually fit perfect in them. So if you did want to stack them, then that could be a cool option as well. I was just testing out different ways that I could potentially use them, and if I wanted to buy a couple more and then have their pajamas kind of over there in a drawer or not. So I also tested using them for shoes, but because my whole shoe situation over there is not ideal. Again, we are going to redo this closet eventually, but I was just seeing what could possibly work and just different ideas for more storage and organization.
And I gotta let it go. So baby, put the record on. I'm not gonna need that song. Hit it. Monday came and swept away all the fun of yesterdays. But I'm gonna hold it together. This ain't forever. Need a shot and then a beat. Somewhere to let out some steam. I'm not the one to say never. Never say never. Been playing it down, but I'm so getting tired. Now won't you?
So 4 of these containers actually fit perfectly. The 5th one wouldn't have worked anyway. So I'm just going to get their clothes ready, and then I will come back around and then label everything accordingly. But these little drawers have been working out perfectly so far. Now, the next big area that I need to work on is the playroom. Over the last 2 years, I've organized, I've decluttered, I've reorganized, I've decluttered again. I have tried to find a good system to make this space aesthetically pleasing, I guess you can say pretty, but also functional. So when I first created this playroom, I had different zones, as you could say, set up. One is like a reading area, one would be like an art area, and then as they just started getting more toys from birthday, Christmas, you know how it works, then And then as interests change, then, I had to kind of create more zones. Now, this whole console table was downstairs. When we got our new console table, I just moved this upstairs and didn't rearrange. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm rearranging. I didn't think this table would fit in between those two small bookshelves, but it ended up fitting perfectly. So I'm going to keep this upstairs and then work on organizing the little art cart. Now, another thing I had to decide was realistically, how organized do I want this space to be? When I first started organizing and I was filming everything, I was under the impression that it had to be so perfect and that we had this little play kitchen and I would organize all the play forks and then all the play spoons. And then, at the time when the kids are 2 and 3 and 4 years old, they would just get the bins and dump them right out. And I'm like, this is not realistically the best way to organize this space. So as I'm thinking this through and going through this playroom and this space, I'm keeping that in mind. What is going to be the most realistic way where we can come in here, clean it up quickly, have its place, but it not be over the top organized? There's nothing wrong with over the top organization. I just want them to be able to organize it and not me all the time. But I picked up this from Home Goods. One of the things that Sailor requested was more arts type stuff. So markers and colored pencils and artwork stuff. So that's what I'm kind of creating in this space. So these are mini washable markers. Very important that they are washable. When I opened it up, they just spilt everywhere. So I thought that it was like a little turntable, which is one of the reasons why I bought it. I saw it off of Amazon first, but then I went to Michael's and ended up getting this and the crowns. Now it's not a turntable, like you can't spin it, but it is kind of nicely in that little organized bin. But if you like playroom organization, there is this channel that I follow, not channel, it's an Instagram account that I follow on Instagram, and her page is Playroom Inspo, and she just shares like different toy ideas for different ages, some of the best sellers, some cool little toys that you can buy off of Amazon, and an organizing hack. So if you are into that, then you could check her out. So I just finished this art cart, keeping coloring books on the bottom, and then in the middle section there's like sticker books and notebooks, and then the top has all of the crayons, markers, colored pencils, and stamps. So the next day, my goal is to work on this middle section area. This zone is supposed to be designated for dress up. So anything that is dress up costumes, shoes, or jewelry is supposed to go over here. But what ends up happening is all of the stuff just gets put into these baskets. So I'm going to go through and organize and sort out this stuff. Now, I'm not going to do like a huge declutter. My main goal is to just throw away things that are broken or trash. So I will have like a trash box, and then I'm going to kind of separate all the Barbies, because next I'm going to have a little Barbie section in the corner next to the Barbie house, and then keep this the dress up area.
Kinda simple, kinda wishful about things, and you're kinda simple, but like a pistol, you fire. Sometimes you get under my skin like a lover, and sometimes you don't wanna come back 'cause you'd rather stay out with another, talking to strangers and make out spontaneously. Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about the drunk nights, bragging in the glory. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Oh, I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about your rich friends traveling Mercedes. You're such a nice guy.
So I do have to always go through all the backpacks and play purses because there is always something that I find that's important, like a mailbox key or the remote or something that I feel like I've been looking for and I think I've misplaced, and then I find it in one of these little purses. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about your rich friends traveling Mercedes. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Don't you get it? Now I'm so tired of hearing all your stories about your rich friends traveling Mercedes. You're such a nice guy when you're not just talking about yourself and the way of how you dwell. I get it. Don't you get it? No. So I realized that the majority of the toys are all a lot of Barbie accessories. So I told her I would not throw away all of her Barbie accessories, especially since Barbie's like extra popular right now, but we are going to come up with a way to sort the Barbie accessories, the clothes, and the Barbies themselves. Now, I didn't want to buy a compartment with a ton of little bins. Like when I Googled Playroom inspiration, majority of the things that pop up have the little containers with the pull-out drawers, and there's like a lot of them. But in my mind, I just envision my kids and other like people who come over just grabbing those bins and just dumping them out into a big pile. So I'm like, let's just keep the containers or bins to a minimal. So that's why I bought those two big rainbow type baskets, and those are going to be my two main baskets, and then I'm just going to buy a compartment drawer, you'll see that in a little bit, for Barbie accessories. So that way it's not like over the top organized where if things are on the floor they can easily just pick them all up and just throw them in the basket. But then they keep the Barbie toys and accessories kind of in that back corner. That way there's a place for that. So I do have a lot of the Barbie stuff sorted out already. So that way whenever my shelf drawer thing comes in, then it will be easy to organize. I also have a pile for the trash. But for now, I'm just going to kind of clean up everything and finish up for the day. So here is my quick toy trash / declutter pile. And the next step is to put together this shelf thing from Ikea.
Lights are shining bright. My friends are in the club. We'll go all night. I see you in the back. The mood is right. If I just had your number, I would let you know how I feel. You walk up to me, start dancing to the music and the chase. Like this was meant to be. Take my hand, I feel my heart beat, and I don't want this moment to stop. Time to go home. Don't want this night to end. Yeah, about time we stop pretending. Come home with me. Let's write a history. Tonight I'll make you see. It's all about us. It's all about us. As we're dancing close together, making out. It's all about us. It's all about us. There's a magic in your eyes, can't get enough. Feel your hands, the way you're touching me around my neck.
So these cubby drawers, that's what I Googled it and that's what it said. Either a bookshelf or like a cubby drawer, you can call it, are pretty popular. And I just opted to get the 4 drawers. Like I said, I didn't want, Ikea sells ones that have like 12 to 20 huge ones, but I feel like the more bins that we have, then just the more mess it could potentially be. I don't know. If you guys have it, you let me know and leave me in the comment. If you have them, do you love them, or do you feel like it makes a bigger mess? But I guess it also depends on your kids' ages. So the bottom 2 bins or cubbies are bigger, and I like that because I can put all of the Barbies down there, and then the next pink drawer I can put like Barbie toys and stuff like that, and then the top 2 drawers I could just put the accessories and the Barbie clothes. I also do kind of like the idea of using this one cubby drawer for artwork as well. Like the bottom you could put a bunch of coloring books, and then you can put sticker books, and you can make it an art cart as well. But any cool ideas that y'all use this for, then make sure you leave me a comment and let me know.
Time to go home. Don't want this night to end. Yeah, about time we stop pretending. Come home with me. Let's write a history. Tonight I'll make you see. It's all about us. It's all about us. As we're dancing close together, making out. It's all about us. It's all about us. There's a magic in your eyes, can't get enough. Can't get enough.
I see a sky with a reindeer car, but I'm not running. I see a train moving all too fast, but I'm not leaving. And you go round and round and round, and you cannot see. I'll be right behind you, honking the tree. You look so beautiful today, and how the game is changing. Just like a stranger, suddenly knows everything.
So this is all of the toys sorted out, and I went through it with the girls and they understand where each goes. Once I finish this, then I am going to go back and label everything, so this way they have more clarity on what goes where.
I move at the speed of light, and this is something I wouldn't dare Keep your head up high. I'll be right behind you like a drum in the sky. You look so beautiful today, now the game is changing. Just like a stranger trying to let you in.
So it's already looking a little better. I felt pretty done that day, and then the next day I'll come back in and work on the right side. Now, the very front of the playroom where I moved the initial white cubby hole, I'm going to work on that and start putting Rye's toys. So Rye is my 1-year-old, and then I have 2 daughters who are 5 and 4 years old. So this is kind of their section, and then in that front section I'm going to take a lot of the baby toys that are downstairs and kind of organize that in a different video. So when I finish this area, it will kind of be what's left that doesn't belong in one of my zones or sections. So section 1 was the whole Barbie station and dollhouse that we set up and organized. The second section was all of the clothes and dress up area. The next section was the art cart as well as like the art table. And then we had on the right side, we had a little library, which I didn't show you, but there's a little chair and library. And then in here is where I'm just keeping anything that is extra. So lastly, I'm going to finish up by pulling out my Cricut again and then labeling all the stuff that we organized. So you guys remember the clothes organizing station that I set up in my closet? Well, I need to create labels for each day of the week. So I'm in the design center, kind of just playing around with the different fonts and sizes and seeing which one I like best. If it were up to me, I wanted like pretty cursive font, but I decided that since the girls are still learning and looking at letters and reading, I'm going to make it as easy and legible as possible. So I just found this font I liked, and I'm going to print it all off on one sheet, and then I'm just going to cut it into individual labels.
Another season we leave behind. Another story that's got me blind. Got only you on my mind. I couldn't face what I couldn't find. Just need to know I need peace of mind. Where are you now? Even though I won't believe it, the truth is a lie, we are healing. Even though words are deceiving, you move on. 'Cause every time I try, yeah, every time I dream, there's always this big part of me wanna believe in what I see. If you can make me smile, if only for a while. There's always this big part of me wanna believe in what I see. Believe in you and me. I'm all alone down the steady road, just full of thoughts about to explode. Facing the night, even though I won't believe it, the truth is a light, we are healing. Even though words are deceiving, you move on. 'Cause every time I try, yeah, every time I dream, there's always this big part of me wanna believe in what I see. If you can make me smile, if only for a while. There's always this big part of me wanna believe in what I see. Believe in you and me.
So I really like the way this turned out, and it's easy to read and see which clothes belong on which day of the week. So it is the removable vinyl, so if I ever wanted to use it for those containers for something else, then I could just take them off if needed. Next, I headed upstairs and I'm going to be adding labels to the little cubby container that we bought. Now, I could have created picture labels instead of writing out the words, but I would have probably done that if the girls were a little bit smaller or younger. But since we're kind of into that, learning our letters and learning to read, I decided to go ahead and just write out what it was instead. And I also tried to pick this Barbie type font, but anyways, I think that it turned out so good. It can really help them keep organized what is supposed to be what and go where.
And you seem to agree with me, but when there's complications, you withdraw and leave me to be. When there's a problem, you become like a wall, and every time I trip, it's a free fall.
But thank y'all so much for watching today's video. I hope you got some good ideas or tips for organizing some of your kids' stuff. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already, and if you hang around for a couple more minutes, then I'll show you some before and afters. But I'll see you guys next week.